Gentlemen of the MFL, greetings and salutations. This is Commissioner Pookie of the Rose Bowl League. I'm joining you today as request of King Fantasy to do a weekly prediction for your game of the week. A little bit about who I am. I am the ESPN Fantasy Football Commissioner of the Week for Week 2 this year. That's how I got to know King Fantasy. I won the custom cornhole set from Matthew Berry and Field Yates. You can actually see it on YouTube at Pizza Hut Commissioner of the Week. And that's how we got to know each other. A little bit about my league and my background and how we won. For one, every year we go down to Las Vegas for our auction draft. We have it in a high roller suite. We actually hire an auctioneer to participate. It's a great time. It's quite the epic trip, and we get better every year. So that's one thing that we do that I think that makes a lot of people jealous, and one of the things that stood out in our petition to be Commissioner of the Week. Number two, we do have a lot of the standard things that people are adding now to their leagues. We do have our Hall of Fame jackets, as you call them. We call them our Champions jackets. You can see our custom logo. As the commissioner, I have my cane. We have our championship. Unfortunately, I'm not the current champion, so I don't have the privilege of owning our belts and trophies, but that is something that we do. We try and add to that every year. We also have an end-of-year banquet in which we celebrate everyone's terribleness except for the champion, and of course my glory as the commissioner. One thing that I'm a little bit disappointed about, though, is we won, and yet you guys have yet to be selected. I don't think that's the fault of King Fantasy. I think that's on each of the individual members of your league. You need to get your stuff together. Every single one of my league members absolutely detest me. They hate me. They hate the idea of me winning anything, but they enjoy the recognition that we received in being Fantasy Commissioner of the Week for Week 2 this year, being up for Fantasy Commissioner of the Year. I'll tell you right now, I believe that King Fantasy deserves that. And I put the onus on you, MFL members, to go out there, continue to nominate, write better stories, and really let them know all the time, the effort, and the greatness that is your Fantasy Football Commissioner. All right, so let's get to Week 2, shall we? Well, not Week 2, that's where I won. Let's get to this week and get to the game of the week. We have the Hall of Famers versus the BRC Bulldozers. BRC, the young man, the second-year player, coming in at a solid 4-2, and in second place, apparently very eager and very anxious to show that he's not just a young man, but someone to be not to be messed with. 4-2 record, really good. Came in with a pretty decent team, it looks like. Apparently very active on the trade front as well, so trying to improve that even further. But I'm looking at your team: Tom Brady, Allen Robinson, Golden Tate, Devontae Freeman, Le'Veon Bell, Delaney Walker, Andre Ellington in the Miami defense. Solid lineup for the league. Let's see what we got going over for the Hall of Famers. Eli Manning. Oh, I'm a big Cowboys fan, I'll be honest, so I don't want Eli to do well. T.Y. Hilton, Jeremy Maclin, Blunt, Ivory, Gates, McCoy in the Arizona defense. This actually looks like a pretty decent matchup. Number 1 versus number 2. I'm looking at the number 1. I'm not sure necessarily how you're number 1 sitting over there with Eli Manning and Ben Roethlisberger on your bench. Maybe there's some other people that you have by this week that aren't doing great, but I'm not seeing a whole lot there that I really believe in. Blunt is back and forth. Yes, he's going to score you some touchdowns, but he is a very touchdown-dependent individual. Scores a lot. Ivory's been great this year, no question there. Top running back. But T.Y. Hilton, not much. Macklin's back and forth, and with his injury this week, I think he's actually not going to do very well. LaShawn McCoy, again, that's a back-and-forth guy. So I'd actually be very curious to know, and maybe King Fantasy can let me know who's on the bench and how this team is 5-1. It looks like he might be playing against lesser opponents rather than having a really quality team. On the other hand, BRC Bulldozers, really strong team, I believe. Tom Brady, I hate him. I hate Tim Brady. I hate cheaters. I hate all things cheaters. And you know what? As most of you are probably Seattle Seahawks fans, you probably don't like him either because he knew what plays your defense was calling last year because all they do is cheat, and it's ridiculous. Allen Robinson, Golden Tate. Robinson's get a little bit banged up. Golden Tate, he apparently gets phantom touchdowns, which is really helpful. But the strength of your team is obviously there in your running back situation with Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell. The number 1 and number 2 running backs, in my opinion, this year in fantasy. They're going to be the key to victory this week. I believe you're going to have 3 20-point scores in Tom Brady, Devontae Freeman, and Le'Veon Bell. With that, you'll get a couple of throw-in points from Allen Robinson, maybe not a touchdown, but 70 to 80 yards. Or maybe just 20 yards in touchdown, but right around 8 or 9 points for Robinson. Golden Tate, not going to do much. I don't think he gets a touchdown, but I do think he gets 50 or 60 yards. Delaney Walker and Andre Ellington. With Mettenberger, Walker might be a little bit more of a focal point for that offense. He's a valuable tight end, but the end of the day, I don't think that they're going to score a lot, and so he'll get 80 yards on for you there, Andre Ellington. But the Miami defense, I actually believe in. So with the switch of the new coach, they are much stronger. They showed up a lot last week. I personally have them playing in my team, so I believe in Miami's defense this week. I believe so. Looking at that, I'm predicting low hundreds, 100 to 110 points. Let's go in at 109 for BRC Bulldozers. Hall of Famers. Again, I'm not seeing the strength in your team. Hopefully, you have some people on buys. But Eli Manning, he's going to struggle this week against a really aggressive Dallas Cowboys front seven, really. We're back to full health. We're getting Randy Gregory back. We've showed that Greg Hardy is willing to just destroy people, even though he's a terrible person. And with that being said, Eli Manning's going to get sacked and not going to have a lot of time, not going to have a great week. T.Y. Hilton, 60 yards and a touchdown. Sure, 12 points is nice, but not great. Macklin, as I mentioned, with that injury, he's not going to be very effective this week. Blunt will get you a touchdown, but not much else. Ivory will probably get you about 100 yards and a touchdown. I think your highest scorer this week is actually going to be Antonio Gates going against a porous Raiders defense against tight ends. That means that he's going to have a really strong week, maybe another 2 touchdown performance. McCoy, traveling across the ocean to play in London. You never know. It's very inconsistent stuff that happens over there. Yes, it's against the Jaguars, who are kind of up and down as far as run defense goes. But I just... Without Tyrod Taylor, without that threat that people have of him both running and throwing the ball much better than E.J. Manuel, I just don't see McCoy getting a lot. And Arizona defense, yeah, they're great, but I think that that's going to be more of a shootout than anything, more of a high-scoring game, which obviously hurts all defenses. That being said, I think you're going to come into the mid-90s there, Hall of Famers. You're going to go about 94. So that being said, I'm predicting BRC Bulldozers, second place, second-year young man playing in the league for only the second year, beating the Hall of Famers 109 to 94 and having a tie atop the league at 5-2. Whichever one has higher points, you obviously get your tiebreaker. Not exactly sure how your entire league is set up. But once again, I encourage every one of you to continue to nominate your commissioner, King Fantasy, for Commissioner of the Week. I truly believe he deserves it. I like what he does. I like the effort. I like the videos that he's put together and we've talked about. And I really think he's truly dedicated. So it's not his fault if he doesn't win. It's you, MFLers. I put the onus on you. I congratulate in advance the Bulldozers with their victory this week, and I wish everyone good luck.